So we're in your culinary class and we're in chapter 3, section 2. And this goes on to the plans for good nutrition. It starts off here and it talks about diet-related health and health crisis. And going on, it says the main problems come from individuals consuming too much of one or more of the following things. What are these things? Fat, sugar, and salt or sodium. So these things can go on. The excess amounts of fat, sugar, and sodium can lead to obesity, diabetes, stroke, cancer, hypertension, which is high blood pressure, heart disease such as atherosclerosis is the buildup of fatty plaques and cholesterol on the artery walls, of your blood vessels. And so arteriosclerosis is hardening and thickening of the arteries, which restricts the blood flow to organs. So it's important that we have a good diet. It goes on here too. It says another flaw in the American diet is the lack of fiber. So what does that mean? Well, basically fiber is what helps you in digestion and elimination in your body, and it helps a healthy digestive tract. And so fiber also gives you a feeling of fullness after you eat. So this fullness keeps you from overeating. So it's really important to have fiber in your diet, and this can help reduce cholesterol and blood sugar, and everything helps too. So fiber is important. It says a teenager needs between 36 and 38 grams of fiber daily. The average person eats only about 15 grams of fiber, but it's important for a teenager to have a lot of fiber. So what kind of food do you eat if you're going to have fiber in your food? And they would be things like legumes, which are like, beans, split peas, chickpeas, lentils, black beans, navy beans, any kind of beans has fiber. Fruits, a lot of fruits, raspberries, pears, apples, and bananas. Vegetables such as green peas, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, potatoes, and sweet potatoes. Also whole grains, such as brown rice, oats, and barley, popcorn, and whole wheat bread. Whole wheat bread, make sure it's whole wheat bread. And nuts such as almonds and pistachios and seeds and chia and flax. These all are good at fiber. So you've got quite a variety of foods you can eat. So good nutrition is crucial to our good health. In fact, it says here, scientists have established the Dietary Reference Index, which is DRI, and this is in the United States Department of Agriculture, and it gives you dietary guidelines for Americans, and also puts forth this new thing that they had in the last few years. I don't know, maybe more than a few years now, but it's called My Plate. So we're going to talk more about My Plate. Basically, what do you need to fill your plate with, and we're going to go over that. But first of all, let's go over the dietary guidelines for America. Here's a picture of some fiber here. Of course, we have cereals, fiber, and bananas and blueberries are very good for you. Bananas have potassium and blueberries help with fiber, and those is a good diet with milk, or milk or almond milk. So let's talk about the dietary guidelines for America, for Americans, I should say. So they have guidelines for each stage of life, including if you're a child or if you're a teenager, if you're an adult, or if you're elderly. So it's maintaining a healthy diet pattern and consuming nutrient-dense foods with lots of nutrients in it. And also good beverages with a lot of water, drinking a lot of water, and staying within the correct number of calories, which is always calories can be based on how many calories you need each day, on your gender, whether you're male or female, on your age, and on your activity level. So these, the more active you are, the more calories you're going to need. These are the guidelines. And to help maintain dietary patterns, you need to vary the food and eat a lot of different kinds of food, and choose nutrient-dense food that have a lot of nutrients, not empty calories such as sugars and candy and desserts and, fast food, or greasy food or fried food are not good for you. So because there's no one perfect food, which can provide all the nutrients, it's important to eat a variety of foods to fulfill your nutrient needs. Variety. So as you plan your menu, you think of things like this. You think of vegetables from each group: dark green vegetables, red vegetables, orange, legumes, starchy vegetables, a variety of vegetables. And eat whole fruits rather than eating fruit drinks and such. Eat whole fruits to reduce sugar and adds fiber, right, with fruits. Fruits are good. Whole fruits are a good source of fiber, and also a good source of energy too. So dairy should include either fat-free or low-fat milk, not really fat dairy. Yogurt's good, especially yogurt, for your digestion too. With that also yogurt has in it, those bacteria that are good bacteria. And cheese or lactose free fortified soy alternate. If you have a lactose problem, then you can have lactose free food in soy. So and half of all the grains should be whole grains. So don't eat just white bread, whole grains. Also eating a variety of proteins, like include, if you are not a vegetarian, that you can eat seafood, poultry, meats, any kind of meats, eggs, legumes, nuts, seeds, soy products. They used to think that bacon and pork was not good for you. Now they're saying, oh, a little bit of it is very good for you. So any kind of meat. Be aware that oils include any oils added to the food, as well as any oils that naturally occur. So you have to limit your oils, not tons of oils, but oils are good if they're at a limited amount. A healthy dietary pattern limits added sugars to less than 10% of the calories. So at least 10% of your calories should be sugar. So not a lot of sweets, snacks, desserts, candies, fruit drinks, sodas, and sports drinks. They're not good for you, right? Too much sugar in your diet. So, and it's very important that you read the label of processed foods to identify the amount of sugar they contain, right? And so basically reading the food labels is also important because labels commonly use terms in which to get to know what terms there are. Like, okay, brown sugar, beet sugar, cane sugar, confection sugar, corn syrup, crystal dextrose, evaporated corn sweetener, fructose, fruit nectar, high fructose, corn syrup, glucose, honey, invert sugar, lactose, liquid fructose, malt syrup, maltose, maltodextrin, maple syrup, molasses, nectars, raw sugar, rice syrup, sucrose, sugar cane, and white granulated sugar. Those are all the words they use for sugar, because they're kind of like disguising sugar in some way to tell you what kind of sugar there is. So it's important that you recognize how much sugar you're eating then. And there's a lot of different kinds of sugar on the labels that you have to be aware of. So a healthy dietary pattern also limits saturated fats. Remember, saturated fats are not good fats. And trans fats, of course, are processed processed food or trans fats. They should be less than 10% of your calories too. So not that much. And a good way to limit saturated fats is to eat foods with unsaturated fats, such as foods with lean meats or nuts, seeds, avocados, and fish. So choose these kind of fish. Unsaturated fats such as olive, those are good fats, I should say. Now, unsaturated fats, so those are good saturated fats. Now let's go into unsaturated fats, of course, are those oils such as olive oil, canola oil, peanut oil, or vegetable oil for cooking. To roast, broil, or grill instead of deep fat frying. French fries, not that good, right? Deep fat frying. You want to bake, roast, broil, or grill to avoid processed foods that can contain a lot of fat, which processed foods have a lot of fat when you're frying them, right? Another characteristic of healthy dietary pattern is limiting sodium, that's salt, to less than 2,300 milligrams. It's about a teaspoon of salt a day. This includes all the foods that have salt in them, so you have to be careful. Sodium is salt, and if sodium is in your diet, you have to read the nutritional facts to see how much sodium it has. So let's go right here to the tips and techniques since we're here. We'll take a little break here and let's go ahead and go over the tips. It says, eat cauliflower rice instead of plain rice, or mashed cauliflower instead of mashed potatoes. That's a good health substitute. Spiralize zucchini or cook spaghetti squash instead of regular spaghetti, or use a peeler to make strips of zucchini that can be used instead of pasta for lasagna. So instead of having lasagna, use zucchini. Add extra vegetables to food like spinach and smoothies. Take a smoothie and put zucchini in smoothie, or vegetables in casseroles and stews instead. Use lettuce leaves instead of a bun. Like if you go and you're going to get a hamburger, say I'll just take some lettuce leaves instead of the bun on sandwiches. Eat dips with vegetables instead of with chips. Good idea. Use ground turkey or chicken instead of ground beef. Replace butter or oil in recipes with applesauce, banana, or avocado. I never thought of that. Instead of putting butter, put in applesauce or banana or avocado. Use Greek yogurt instead of sour cream. I think Greek yogurt's better for you. Make homemade substitute for ice cream by pureeing frozen bananas with honey or peanut butter instead of eating ice cream. Add fruit yogurt or cereal instead of buying sweetened versions of these foods. Add fruit instead of buying pre-sweetened sugary cereal, get the cereal without the sugar and add fruit is what they're saying. Infuse fruit into water instead of drinking sodas. Fruit, just put some lemon and stuff on the water and drink lemon. Use cinnamon instead of sugar in coffee and tea. Good ideas. Never thought of some of those. Those are some good tips. So always taste your food before salting it. So that way you still put salt in it. So you taste it first and say, really, do I need to put some salt on it? Salt's not that good to you. Try to use herbs and spices to add flavor and limit the amount of salt instead of using regular salt. So now let's talk about using the label. So here's a label. So the United States Food and Drug Administration requires that all manufacturers label. They put the nutrition facts on the label on all processed foods. And this can help for consumers to make wise choices, right? So this is a colored sample, but it says right here, usually the sample is like in black and white. But in here, they colored it to show you what things were. So they're looking at the blue. The blue section of the label tells the number of servings in the can or package and also tells the serving size. So you have that. Here's the serving. If you look on it, here's the serving. 4 servings per container. Serving size is 1.5 cups. So you know exactly how big your servings will be. So this will help to know how much you will need to purchase. So if you have 6 people in your family, you're going to need 6 servings or 4 servings, or how many servings you're going to need. You'll find that right up front. Going on here, the information that follows is based on the serving size. So if you choose to eat more or less than 1 serving, you'll have to adjust the number of calories. So if you're going to eat more than 1 serving, then you know you're going to have more calories. Sometimes it says on the nuts for peanuts or cashews, it would say 1 serving is 10 cashews. Well, you think, well, 1 serving is like a whole cup. So you eat a whole cup of, 30 of them, you're going to be taking in more calories than they have put on the label, right? So now the orange section shows the number of calories here, important. And this will help to maintain appropriate calorie count for the day. The appropriate amount of calorie varies for each person is based on one's gender, age, and activity. Of course, men need more calories, teenagers need more calories, and then how your height and weight, you'll need more calories for if you're, if you're, 6 foot tall, rather than you're 5 foot tall, So depends, and that's your calorie count. So a food serving that is 400 calories is more, calories or more is considered to be high in calories, while a food item that's 100 calories is moderate. So if you have like an apple is 100 calories, that's pretty moderate, 240 calories in the middle, but if you go over this number, 400 calories means it's pretty high in calories. So 240, that's medium to medium high. So make your calories count by eating nutritious, dense foods that give the greatest amount of nutrition for the number of calories. So in the green section here, so it's the green section there is a listing of important nutrients that are in. And the purple section to the right of each as a nutrient lists the daily value of each nutrient inside. So here's the value, percent value, daily value, percent daily value here. So you can see it's the sodium, 19% of your sodium, total carbohydrates, 17% of your carbohydrates, your dietary fiber, your total sugars are which includes 2 grams of added sugar, is 4%. This is of your daily, how much you take each day. And these are your vitamins here. And the percent daily value tells you how much a nutrient in a serving of food contributes to a diet of a 2,000 calorie diet, if you had a 2,000 calorie diet. Okay? So now you can look on your labels here and find a lot of information. Okay, we went over this part about the percent. It basically says foods with 5% or less of nutrient contain low amounts of that nutrient, and foods with 20% or more contain a high. That's 20% is pretty high for that nutrient when you're talking about nutrients, and they're based on 2,000 calorie diet. In addition to the nutrition facts section, a food label must also include a common name of food, the weight of the contents, the name and address of the manufacturer, the packer or the distributor, and the list of ingredients organized in descending order by weight. So not only that through that label, a label has to be on, they have to have the name of the food, the weight of the contents, how much that contents weighs in there. They could put, as for the weight, they could put a smaller amount of weight, in a bigger package. So they need to put the weight. The name of the address and the manufacturer so you can get a hold of them and distribute it so you can know where to write if you have a problem with that item. Also on here, having all the ingredients inside is important because a person might be allergic to something in it. So all the ingredients need to be on the side too. And these ingredients are very important. If some people are allergic to nuts, they have to say, we have nuts in here. So in case they eat it, they're not going to have an allergic reaction. And if your dietary patterns need improvement, make small changes and allow them to become healthy habits. Healthy habits is reading the label and doing. See, here's a guy reading the label. A healthy dietary pattern must be balanced with exercise, of course. So physical activity and exercise improves your brain function and your heart health and your bone strength and your fitness, and can also reduce the risk of depression and obesity. So it's important to have exercise, physical activity. I go for long walks now, probably go for a walk sometimes 7 or 8 miles a day sometimes, but the walks have really helped me in all areas of my life and how important. And in order to really put my walk together, I either listen to Christian music and so get, praise music, or else I listen to a Bible study while I'm doing it. So the time goes by really fast. So when you're walking, listen to something, listen to a Bible study. That'll be your Bible study time with God on your walks. How amazing is that? Anyway, the CDC recommends that young people get 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity most days, which should include aerobics for walking, running, or those aerobics or increasing your heart rate, and muscle and bone strengthening such as lifting weights or calisthenics, or playing a sport. If you play a sport, whether it's from baseball, tennis, on to any sports you can think of, what would be a good sport? Swimming would be a great one, right? If you had a pool. But anyway, these sports are really good at exercise. And so at home, you can make small changes at a time if you need to change, and choose healthy options for lunch, and purchase healthy foods and snacks. So that is, basically going back to how the basic way, let me go back and show you. One more here. Dietary Guidelines for America. So this is the Dietary Guidelines for America. But there's something else they talked about, and it was called My Plate. And we're going to talk about My Plate here. In fact, I think I gave Adele one of them one time. This is My Plate. Okay, back here. My Plate. There we go. So this is another helpful way. My Plate is a place setting divided into 5 groups for every meal. There's your fruit group, there's your vegetables and grains, and then your protein, and then your dairy. So you can see this here. It's kind of small here, but you see. So here we have our protein, major protein. Then we have grains, so they're like half. They're like, protein is a little smaller, but grains here we have. Then we have fruits and vegetables. So we have these 4 areas, and this amount is how much you need. Quite a bit of vegetables in our diet, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back here. There we go. And here we have dairy, maybe a glass of milk or some yogurt or something, So this whole plate is the balanced diet, is what they say. And each of these groups provides the needed nutrients, and to eat from all the groups at every meal and be more healthy, and make sure limited on your sugars. And so My Plate is based on the standard 2,000 calories a day is your standard. Some people that are on diets are 1,800, but we're not supposed to go less than that. Because the total number of calories and amounts from each group you can have on a daily basis are determined by your gender, age, and activity level, use a My Plate calculator. And they even have a My Plate calculator online. So activity ranges from light to active. So you can go with this calculator and your My Plate. So, and it tell you how much exercise you need. Activity is 30 minutes or more of exercise daily, or 60 minutes. It says, and active is 60 minutes. So that's just exercise with it. So let's talk about the fruits on your My Plate. So the fruits include cooked or raw, and as well as 100% fruit juice. You can add fruit juice there too, but it has to be 100%, no sugar added, right? And because this provides more fiber than fruit juice, it's better to eat the fruits. So if you had like an apple, it's better to take apple than apple juice, just because it has more fiber in it. So, and more daily servings should be from whole fruit than fruit juice. So you can eat 2 cups of fruit daily. Each of the following is equivalent here of raw fruit or cooked fruit. 1 cup of 100% fruit juice, or 1/2 cup of dried fruit, 1 slice of watermelon, 1 banana, 1 apple, 1 grapefruit, 1 orange. So that's your fruit section. So let's go into the vegetable section. Vegetable section includes raw vegetables and cooked vegetables, and or 100% vegetable juice. So, and they can be categorized by color. For dark green color or orange, a lot of them have a lot of vitamins in them. Dry beans or peas, starchy vegetables. Eat vegetables from all of these categories weekly to benefit the variety. Use a variety. Maybe have, the green leafy vegetables, or maybe onto variety with carrots or sweet potatoes or such, and then go on maybe beans and peas at a different one, just a variety. Eat 2.5 cups of vegetables every day. That's quite a bit, 2.5 cups a day. So vegetables are important in your diet. You can basically say each of the following is equivalent to 1 cup serving of vegetables, 1 cup of raw cooked vegetables, 2 cups of raw leafy vegetables. You have to have 2 cups of them. That's salads. Potato, 1 ear of corn, a cup of 100. These are all just one vegetable for that meal. Grains. Grains are a group of food that make wheat, oats, oatmeal, rice, and other grains. So grains are important too. Whole grains are important. And they include bread, cereal, crackers, and pasta. And there are 2 categories of grains: whole grains and refined grains. Of course, you want more of whole grains. At least half of each day's grain servings should be from whole grains. Just think, most people like to eat processed. I want to have some white bread, or I want to have some white pasta instead of whole grain. But it's important to eat whole grain because of the fiber. It says eat 6 ounces of grain every day. So basically each of the following is like 1 ounce of grain is like 1 mini bagel, 1 small biscuit, 1 slice of bread, 1 1.25 cups of cereal, 1/2 cup of cooked cereal or rice, a small muffin, 1 pancake that's only 4.5 inches, 3 cups of popcorn, or 1 tortilla. These are all 1 serving. We always like to really go all out on grains, but that's not the best way to do. Protein. So this group includes meats, foods made from meat, fish, poultry, eggs, nuts, seeds, and legumes. And you should choose lean or low fat if you can, to limit your consumption of saturated fats. Saturated fats come from animals. You just know that. When you say unsaturated, they're like oils from vegetables like olive oil or avocado oil or that kind. Because legumes are naturally low in fat and fiber, they are an excellent choice from this group. Eat 5.5 ounces of protein daily. So it's important. 1 ounce of meat, poultry, or fish, 1 egg, 1/2 ounce of seeds or nuts, and legumes. So here we go, his picture there. So here's some good picture here of, this is of course fish, having with avocado is good, some nuts and everything. Proteins being more, avocado is considered a type of fat really, but it's actually good fat. Dairy. Dairy includes milk, of course, and foods made from milk, but it also includes lactose-free dairy products and calcium-fortified soy products in milk. Milk products such as butter and sour cream and cream cheese are not included in this group because they're fats instead. So butter is not really, even though it says dairy, it's really more of a fat. So is sour cream and cream cheese. I didn't know what cream cheese was, but it is, because of their low calcium content and their high amount of fat. You're to eat or drink at least 3 cups of dairy every day. Each of the following includes like 1 cup serving of milk or calcium fortified soy milk, a cup of yogurt, 1.5 ounces of hard cheese. Cheese is in the group. 1/3 cup of shredded cheese, and on to processed American cheese is not the best, but 2 cups of cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is good. 1 cup of pudding made with milk, or 1.5 cups of ice cream. This all goes into dairy. On to the oils. Oils are another necessary part of the diet. You have to have oils. And they're not considered a food group. They're an addition to your food group. They are extracted from natural products that are high in fat, such as fish, olives, nuts, and seeds, like fish oil. Some common types of oils are canola oil. You got to be careful. I think your mom is allergic to canola oil or palm oil, So you got to be careful of oils sometimes, and if you're allergic to them. Canola, olive oil, peanut, safflower, and soybean oils are another. And some examples of solid fats are butter, lard, which is not that good, shortening, margarine, margarine's not good, partially hydrated oil, and fat found in meat and poultry. Because solid fats contain more saturated fats, that's the fat you don't like to have a lot of, it contains more saturated fats, cholesterol, and trans fats. Those all three you don't want to have much of. Then liquid fats. These fats should be limited. So you limited your butter and lard and margarine and, hydrogenated oil and fats. And meat fats off the meat. Oil should be limited to about 6 teaspoons or 27 grams per day. So 1 tablespoon of margarine is 2.5 teaspoons. So remember, you only get 6 teaspoons. So 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise is 2.5 teaspoons. So, and 2 tablespoons of salad dressing is 2.5 teaspoons. So you can go through these pretty quickly with your oils. And doing unsaturated oils like this is actually much better. Olive oil is pretty good. So avocado has 3 teaspoons of oil in an avocado, and 4 large olives have 1/2 teaspoon. Olives and avocados are pretty good for your diet here. They're considered oils, for goodness sakes. So let's stop here, and then we're going to go into our last section of chapter 3, which is healthy living, and that's weight management.